What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex. I'm once again joined by Tyler, and we are back for our Pirates of the Caribbean Community Series, a community series that airs every other Friday at noon Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be doing things a little bit different, really, from now on. We're trying to spice things up on this community series, and we think it's really going to work. So we're going to talk about that very briefly and then go into this video. What we're going to be doing from now on is having a poll every single week that the Pirates of the Caribbean Community Series comes out. So this Friday, we'll have a new poll on our channel talking about a topic related to Pirates of the Caribbean. We want you guys to answer that poll, and then the next video will be Tyler and I discussing the results and discussing the overall topic of the video. Tyler and I asked you last time if Pirate 6 should be Jack Sparrow's last movie, and we actually got a ton of results and some really interesting results, and that's what this video is about. We're going to be talking about what you guys said and what Tyler and I feel about that topic. Today on our channel, we are going to have a poll on the channel talking about the next video for Pirates of the Caribbean. We want you guys to answer that, and we'll talk about that. The next video is going to go up next Thursday, by the way, not next Friday, just for a little house cleaning. But that's what we're going to be doing from now on. We also talked about a little earlier on what kind of topics in general you want us to talk about. We decided on Pirate 6. That was the majority vote. So for those, we are going to be doing those again in order. But if we have any kind of things that we want to switch on the fly, we will also have polls asking you guys about any topic. So we're doing this to engage you guys. We want to see what you guys think about topics. We want to hear what you guys think about them. And then Tyler and I want to talk about what you guys say in these. We don't know when Pirate 6 is coming out. We think this year is going to be the year we start to hear about it, where in next summer, we'll probably see it in terms of D23 in July of 2019. So we're getting closer, but we want a way to really kind of freshen up this community series, and this is our way to do it. So, again, for this video, we asked you guys, should Pirate 6 be Jack Sparrow's last movie? And the results, out of 548 of you, 69% said yes, and 31% said no. Now, Tyler had messaged me and said he was actually very surprised with the results. I am too. I didn't know what the results were, and then I checked them. So we're going to go back and forth. Tyler, what do you think of the results, and what is your personal opinion for this topic?
Well, I definitely did not expect it's not quite, but it's almost 550 as I'm looking at it right now. I didn't expect almost 600 people to say, again, it was 31% said no, but the vast majority, almost 70%, said yes, that this should be Jack Sparrow's last movie. And that actually surprised me, because I don't know how many of the Pirates of the Caribbean Community Series group, I'm talking to you all, I don't know how many of you guys voted in this poll. I don't know if these are Marvel people or just people who just lurk waiting to just rip on Pirates of the Caribbean, because there are people like that. So I don't know if that's what took place, but I'm pretty shocked. Because I thought a lot of people really like Jack Sparrow, and this kind of hurt. The funny thing is, the people who took the time to leave a comment, most of them were the people who said no, that this should not be Jack Sparrow's last movie. And they gave their reasons, and they were good reasons. But there was 2 so far that said, yes, this should be. And one said it was totally overrated BS movies. They're just dull. And the other person said, honestly, the last movie was disappointing. Now, although, Alex and I really like Pirates 5, I can kind of see where there would be a little bit of disappointment. Because I'm disappointed in how Jack Sparrow was, overly drunk. I don't like too much. But overall, I wasn't disappointed, but some people really were super disappointed. So I could get that. The overrated BS though, that I don't understand. I don't see them as just dull movies. But some other people said Jack Sparrow and Barbossa, they're the main characters of the story. It just wouldn't be the same. Someone else said that Jack is the lifeblood of the movie. He's literally the main character. Why would you remove the main character of a franchise? It's like killing off Indiana Jones or Luke Skywalker. Oh wait. I laughed at that one. And, the only reason I'm discussing these is because we're going to go into, the thought lines and our own thoughts. Now, this is where I disagree with a lot of the people who, and I admit, I voted no, because I wanted to partake as a person. I am a human being. I'm not AI. I am not Google Duplex. But I want 2 more Jack Sparrow movies, but only 2. This is me. This is my opinion. I want Pirate 6 to be, and you can see it in the comments, but I want Pirate 6 to be basically solely around the whole, Will Turner is still, cursed. He's still attached to the Flying Dutchman. Davy Jones is basically haunting him because he needs to go back. He needs to do his job. Someone needs to ferry the souls to the other side. So I really want it to be about Will Turner, a little bit about Elizabeth, like the whole relation. I needed to have some more Henry with, Will, like more of like that family like ties and stuff. And then Karina. And the reason that I need more of the family ties is so that we could tear it away. That's what makes movies great. Is you set them up, you're like, yay, they're all happy, and then you immediately make it so like there's a tragedy, and it's like, oh my God, that's horrible. So we need that. I like tragedy, especially in Pirates of the Caribbean, because we really don't get that much. The last time I felt that was recent. It was almost a year ago, and it was when Barbossa died, when we found, when we heard the last thing that he told Karina, his daughter, and that she is his treasure. That, and then him dying, that kills me to this day. Man, do I wish that they got to bond a little bit more. But it's because they didn't get to bond that it makes it that much more tragic, but even more emotional, and you care that much more because he didn't get the chance. He didn't get the chance to be with his daughter. His daughter, she didn't realize that was her father. But her whole life, she was kind of like searching for her father, or didn't know she even had a father. And like to be with her father for like a couple hours, not even know it, and then when she finds out, in a way, he's taken away because he saves her life, but he's taken away in an instant. That kind of stuff has never been done in Pirates of the Caribbean. And I'm not saying do that again in Pirate 6, like with Will. That's not literally what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, like, when you have these characters, they can't just exist. We can't just have Jack Sparrow in every movie and nothing really ever matters to him. And that happened only a couple times, because when you look at, like, Pirates 1 is one example and Pirates 4 is another, and sort of actually Pirates 5 also. But when you look at Pirates 2 and mainly Pirates 3, the person that he cared about was Elizabeth and Will. When he was faced with losing Will, which would destroy Elizabeth, he had to make a tough call. That was like, that was a very real, like, moment that I can't relate with it. I've never had somebody dying right in front of my eyes. But, that was just something that was very powerful for me. And I think, honestly, people don't really realize, but that might be, what took place in At World's End, and even Dead Man's Chest, because it was more real, because there was more of that bond, and it seemed like he actually cared about these two people. I think that's why so many of us love those movies more, because it wasn't so much like, here's a movie, and they do things, and it's cool, except for that one kid who was dull, and, this is it, and just, we'll see you next, in the next 5 years for the next movie. Where these ones were like, he actually cared about these people. So what he did actually affected their lives. Same thing with Barbossa. What Barbossa did actually affected his daughter's life. Like, so I want that in 6. I need that to continue, but this time, from the after credit scenes, we assume that it's going to be about Will Turner, Davy Jones, which therefore means that it's going to affect Elizabeth, and it's going to affect Henry, therefore it's going to affect Karina. So we need that kind of stuff, and I want that, but here's the deal. When you deal with that, that means that you can't have a movie where you really give Jack Sparrow closure. And we would need that, because whether you like it or not, for a large majority of us, not 600 of us, I mean, you look at some of our other videos, and we've had hundreds of thousands of views. There's a lot, and we've gained like thousands of subscribers who are just Pirates of the Caribbean fans. And I'll say it again, we're the largest Pirates of the Caribbean series or channel on YouTube. So that's a big deal. That means that there's a lot of people who love Pirates of the Caribbean, and we can't just have a final movie. Let's say it was 6. You can't just have a final movie that's about a couple other characters and not Jack Sparrow, and then he kind of just sails off at the end, because that would be no different than 5. That's not like a full character arc. That's not closure to the story. It's just kind of like, and it's, Jack's off to another adventure, and it's, let's close off these characters' arcs, and, it's just like, yeah, leave Jack Sparrow to your imagination. Everybody dies, so either does he die, does he finally get caught, because in every movie, a mistake leads to the plot of the movie. Like, what, I don't want it to be my imagination. That's why I need a Pirate 7, where we've already dealt with basically freeing, or hopefully freeing, Will Turner, and all that stuff's kind of done. Now we have Henry and Karina. They're the two supporting cast characters, and now the story's mainly about, this is the end for Jack Sparrow. That's why I wrote, and this isn't technically the title that I really want, but I wrote like Pirates of the Caribbean: The Legend's Tale. So it's like this is how the legend of Jack Sparrow. This is what people talk about. Pirates 7, the final Jack Sparrow movie, the events that take place. This is how people will remember Jack Sparrow. Not that he's a drunk and he's always making mistakes and he might just be the greatest pirate alive. Yeah, but why is he the greatest pirate alive? What did he do? Like that kind of stuff. That's what we need to see. We need to see finally a movie that's solely about Jack Sparrow, where it actually affects him. It's more of the serious type Jack that I love. I'm being selfish. But we need that kind of thing. You can't have it where, what I just said, where it's like you work on the story of other characters, but you leave Jack, who's kind of like there to move he's like the vehicle, I always say. He moves the story, but the story's not about him. That's not what you can't have that for the last Jack Sparrow movie.
What I think is important to note, too, is the way we worded the poll was should pirate, not will pirate 6. And I feel like, to be honest, I kind of answered in terms of will pirate 6, because I do believe that from Disney, they do have that mentality where it's that as long as Johnny Depp wants to do it, he's going to do it, and they're going to continue to make movies off of that. And you can do that. We've talked about that before. That's possible to do that. It's a big risk. I do think they need to push things in the future, like Tyler was saying. You got to make. I think they set up very, very well for themselves for Karina and Henry to lead the franchise. But I answered no as well. I do not think Pirates 6 should be, or honestly even will be, Jack Sparrow's last movie. It honestly, though, depends on when Pirates 6 releases. If it releases in another 2 to 3 years, they would have, I would assume, more time to make a Pirates 7. Again, it also just depends on how they do it. Is Pirates 6 really a combination movie, a Pirates 2 and 3? Is Pirates 6 a 6 and 7? We've talked about that, too, on the channel, and that's, future videos to come, too. So I am not surprised by the results. I think, funny enough how Tyler was talking about, the past videos we've done, it's funny to see people's mentality, right? Because Tyler and I actually have had videos talking about what one of the videos was like Jack Sparrow's role in the films. It got like 3,000 views back in the day, and a lot of people had wrote on it. And we had videos about that talking about Jack, and a lot of people felt that if Jack wasn't in the movie, it was not a Pirates of the Caribbean movie, and they should end it. And so for people to say yes, that they should stop at 6 with him is pretty surprising. Now, I don't know if that's people that also think that Pirates 6 should be the last movie. That's a little different piece of it. If there's no Jack Sparrow after 6, does that mean that you also think Pirates 6 would be the last movie? I actually would be interested in your thoughts in the comments for that too. But I'm not surprised, although I do think we've seen a shift. And it's kind of interesting that we've seen it now, really a year later, with only the diehard Pirates of the Caribbean fans left. There's still a lot of you, but clearly, a lot of people come out of the woodworks, watch the movie, join our community series and all that stuff as the movie gets closer, and then, peacefully bow out, I guess. So it's interesting to see the way the votes shook out. Again, I think they could definitely do it. I definitely agree with Tyler. It depends also on what Pirates 6 is. Pirates 5 clearly ended with the whole focusing on Orlando Bloom, and it's no secret that they've talked about if there is a Pirates 6, Orlando Bloom is a main character again. So you would think that Pirates 6 is going to heavily be on Will Turner. And like Tyler was saying, which is a good point, if it's Will Turner's story, that means it's Davy Jones' story, and that also means it's Henry's story mainly, right? And like he said, that means that Jack is, again, kind of riding shotgun, which he's done before, but you could argue Pirates 3 is Elizabeth's movie. We've said that. But Jack Sparrow was a huge character in Pirates 3. I mean, he was right there for a lot of the movie. Not as much as like 4, but he was there. So they could do that again, where he's very, very important, but he's not the most important, and it could still be a really, really good send-off. Pirates 3 was a fantastic send-off for him. There's nothing wrong with that ending. I would have been okay with that ending if they stopped. So they have a chance to do that again. I guess what it comes down to is like when we finally figure out the synopsis and when we see the first trailer, it's like, what's the tone? What's the story? And how does Jack Sparrow factor into the story? If he's in it a lot, then we could probably assume it's the last one. But and it could be either way. If he's not in it a lot, they could also be his last movie. But I definitely agree with Tyler. I want a very proper send-off for him. And I think the way that they'd be going for 6 would just not be that. They could be, but it's possible that it also is a failed attempt. So in that case, I would want a movie dedicated kind of to this legend. Not only is he a legend, but I mean, Jack Sparrow is a pretty iconic character in cinema. A lot of people know of Jack Sparrow. And so not only is Jack Sparrow very important and really a huge character that everybody knows about, and it's Johnny Depp that's the one that brought him, forward, but pirates in general. We've definitely seen, a huge push of pirates. We've seen games. We've seen Sea of Thieves. We've seen Skull and Bones. We've seen Assassin's Creed do it. We've seen more movies do it. We've seen TV shows like Black Sails. So we've seen so many things, whereas when before Pirates of the Caribbean came out, you hear about pirates and stuff, but pirates are not big. At that time, back in in the early 2000s and the late 90s and stuff, Pirates of the Caribbean really, really kicked off this resurgence of pirates. And again, when you see costumes, you see Jack Sparrow. You see maybe general pirate costumes. But if you have the choice between a pirate costume and Jack Sparrow, you're going to dress up like Jack Sparrow. So, not only did they make Jack Sparrow's a huge character in movies, a character that's kind of very well respected that Johnny Depp could do that, but also just the identity of a pirate, they really, really brought that forward. So I think the franchise is massive, and you got to be able to send him off in a nice way. The amount of things he did for you, as a studio, as a audience, for all these years, for 15 years, and going forward for Pirates 6 or 7, you're going to want to give him a proper send-off, and I think we'll get it. I really do think we'll get that. Okay, so again, just to remind you guys, we're going to have a poll. A poll is on our channel right now talking about the next video in our Pirates of the Caribbean community series. Answer that poll. We're going to be talking about that next week. The next video will go up next Thursday. So in 6 days, and then we'll talk about it there, and we'll preview the next one as well. So that's the plan. Thank you guys, as always, for watching our Pirates of the Caribbean community series. We really, really appreciate it. We hope you guys like this kind of tweak, and hopefully it's something that kind of freshens up the community series a little bit. So we thank you guys, as always, for watching. We'll see you for next week's video.